Hi viewers, Nikat Kul. Welcome you in my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to give the lecture on steps of this qualitative research. One by one, I will teach you about the process and steps of the qualitative research. First of all of you know, we have to choose the one statement of the problem or a topic which be nature in a qualitative form of the research, whichever topic is you selected and choose for the future study must be applicable qualitative research method on that topic. Next step, prepare your research. First of all, main important things to decide on a questions you want to study. To do a qualitative research, your questions should explore reasons for why people to do things or believe in something. First step, we have to prepare the questions. Most the questions of the qualitative research uh, in nature of what, why, and when, whom. WHO questions. What are the reasons and what are the psychosocial factors in Pakistan, tagging of the psychological patients. If I want to know the psychosocial factors and factors of tagging of psychiatry or psychological disorders patient in Pakistan, then I will apply qualitative research and will prepare the questions. Why people uh, tag the mental illnesses as patients in Pakistan? What is the reason they tag the psychological patients in Pakistan? Uh, what is the mentality? What is the thinking? What are their feelings? And how this attitude and behavior is emerged and emerging in Pakistan to take the psychological patients in Pakistan. Same like that, we will make the questions. What, when, and whom questions. First of all, we will make the questions assumptions. Decide on a question you want to study. Good research questions needs to be clear, specific, and manageable. Be measurable, not overfly. To do qualitative research, your questions should explore reasons why people do things or believe in something. It determines uh, what you want to learn and understand, and also helps to focus the study. Since you couldn't, since you can't investigate everything at once, your research questions will also shape how you conduct your study. Nice different questions here require different methods of inquiry. You should start with burning question and then narrow it down more to make it manageable enough to be reached effectively. For example, what is the meanings of a teacher works to teachers is too broad for a single research and endure, but if that's so what you are interested, you could narrow it by limiting the type of a teacher, focus on a one level of education. For example, what is the meaning of a teacher works to second career teachers, and what is the meaning of a teacher work to junior high teachers. Second one, future research directions. Prepare your research future directions to We have to prepare the specific guidance and directions for future making the research and do a literature review. A literature review is a process of studying what others have written about your research questions and particular topic. Do a literature review. You have the background studies and previous studies related to your topic and in any other perspectives and related to your study phenomena may conduct previously researches or not. A literature review is a process of studying what others have written about your research question and particular topic. You read widely on the large field and examine studies that related to your topic. You then draw up an analytical report that synthesize and integrate the existing research rather than simply present a short summary of each study in chronological order. In other words, you are researching the research. For example, uh, research if your research questions focus on how second career teachers attribute meanings to their work, you would want to examine the literature on second career teaching. What motivates people to turn to teaching as a second career? How many teachers are in their second career? Where do most second career teachers work? Doing this reading and review of existing literature and research will help you refine your questions and give you the base you need for your own research. It will also give you a sense of a variable that might impact your research, age, gender, class, etc., demographic variables, and that you will need to take into consideration in your own study. A literature review will also help you to determine whether you are really interested and committed to topic and research question, that there is a gap in existing research and do you want to fill the conduct by your own investigation. Evaluate whether qualitative research is the right fit. Then to first moment of my lecture starting, I talked about the topic and statement of the problem. If your topic and your selected topic and your selected problem of the study phenomena, a selected problem of the world, and a selected problem for studying whatever you choose the topic, whatever you choose the problem for studying is uh, mm, be measurable and you can conduct qualitative method on your selected topic or not. Sometimes there is your selected topic nature is quantitative, your study phenomena type and nature is quantitative, and sometimes your selected topic nature is qualitative. You can't simply apply quantitative quantitative research method and quantitative research. You can't measure the study phenomena. You required investigating study phenomena in a quantitative topic. That's why evaluate whether qualitative research is the right fit. Your selected topic is right fit for qualitative research or right fit for the quantitative research. If it right fit for the qualitative research, then you apply the qualitative research. If right fit for the quantitative research, then you apply the quantitative research. There I give example authority abuse in policeman's, then we will have to apply the qualitative method because there need to measure in narrative forms in content and thematic analysis, make to interviews for knowing to the authority abuse in a policeman. In just one questionnaire I can't deeply measure the authority abuse and policeman. I want to make the I give before examples of to know the psychosocial factors of Taliban ideology. I want to measure the Taliban ideology psychosocial factors, and this is based on the nature of the research is a qualitative. If I want to measure the psychological and psychosocial or psychological or factors triggering people towards the tagging taking the psychological patients, mental illness patients in Pakistan. Is nature the topic nature of the topic is a qualitative, so I will my topic fit for qualitative research. Then I will apply the qualitative methods are useful when questions cannot be answered by a simple yes no hypothesis. You improve or disprove. No, they require to make the depth evaluation and depth measurement, depth study for finding to know the emergence of the study phenomena in a world. Evaluate whether the question is right fit for your research questions. Qualitative methods are useful when a question cannot be answered by a simple yes and no hypothesis. Offer qualitative research is especially useful for answering how, what questions, WHO questions. They are also useful when budgetary decisions have to be taken into account. So you have the enough budget for making research successfully. Consider your ideal sampling size. Then sampling size. Mostly in qualitative research method not rely on heavily on large sample size as quantitative methods, but they can still yield important insight and findings. Mostly qualitative research has short size sampling size. If we make the documentary analysis, contextual analysis, current source of knowledge, then we rely on the saturation base. If data is saturated, if data is enough for making depth analysis of the study phenomena, then it's okay. And otherwise, just want to conduct the research on schizophrenic patients, and schizophrenic population is very rare in the world, and I want to take to data in form of interview, in a case study, any observation, any type of the data collection method is fitted for schizophrenic patients. Mm, uh, then if it's very easiest. I know any ethical issues, and I can observe them indirectly and directly become the participant as a psychiatrist, as a psychologist, participate and collect the data. To depend on the nature and target population, how much is available, and no, mostly clinical patients, specifically schizophrenics, are very rare. So I will rely on a short sample size. My sample size will be short. If there is large enough of the required large enough number of the population, then my target population is in enough in a large in size, then I will prefer my sample is must have to be larger. But mostly in qualitative studies, our sample size very short. Consider your ideal sampling size. Qualitative research methods don't rely as heavily on large sample size as quantitative methods, but they can still yield important insight and findings. For instance, since it's unlikely that you have the funding to be able to study all second teachers everywhere in United States, perhaps you chosen to narrow your study to a major urban area like New York, or schools within 200 kilometers of where you live. Consider the possible outcomes because qualitative methodology is generally quite broader. There is almost always the possibilities that some useful data will come out of the research. This is the difference than in a quantitative experiments where an unproven hypothesis can mean that a lot of the time has been wasted. Your research budget and available financial resources should also be considered. Qualitative research is often cheaper and easiest to plan and execute. For example, it is usually easier and cost saving to gather a small number of people for interviewing than it is to purchase a computer program that can do statistical analysis and hire the appropriate choose a qualitative research methodology. Then next one important thing is to you decide about your qualitative research method. What is the design of qualitative research? Most flexible of all the experimental techniques. There are different types of the qualitative research designs, which is the suited for your study phenomena according to your data collection methods. You apply qualitative research design, ethnography, grounded theory, action research designs, phenomenological, historical case study, whatever else is suited for your study, and according to your nature of the study, you choose a research design, and they use decide analysis for your study, and choose a qualitative research methodology. The design of qualitative research is accepted methodology available. Action research focus on solving an immediate problem or working with others to solve problem and address particular issues. Ethnography is the study of human interactions in communities through direct participation and observation within the community you wish to study. Ethnography research comes from the discipline of social and cultural anthropology, but is now becoming more widely used. Phenomenological is the study of a subjective experience of others. It research the world through eyes of the another person by discovering how they interpret the experiences. Grounded theory. The purpose of grounded theory is to develop theory based on the data systematically collected and analyzed. It looks at specific information and derives theory and reasons for the phenomena. Case study research. This method of qualitative study is an in-depth study of specific individual or phenomena in an existence context. So all these the research design, whatever is suited for your study according to the nature of your study, you give the name and select one research design. Collecting and analyzing your data. You collect the data by your choosing selected quality data collection methods, which we in my previous lecture I have deeply elaborate all the data collection method: observation, interview, uh, mm, case study, focus group, subjective techniques, documentary records, contextual data. What are else you choose for collecting data? You collect and organize your data, summarize your data, organize your data, then feed and make the analysis. For collecting your data, each of your research method has used one or more techniques to collect empirical data, including interviews, participant observation, fieldwork, archival research, documentary material. The form of a data collection will depend on the research methodology. For example, case study research usually relies on interviews, documentary material, whereas in ethnography research requires considerable fieldwork, direct observation of a situation. Your research subject can occur through videotape, playback, through a live observation, indirect observation. You are making specific observation of a situation without influencing and participating in any for example, perhaps you want to see how second career teacher go about their routine in and outside the classroom. So you describe to observe them for a few days, being sure to get the requisite permission from the school students and teachers, and taking careful notes along the way. Participant observation is the parallel of the research in the community or situation being studied. This form of data collection tends to be more time consuming as you need to participate fully in a community in order to know whether your observations are valid. Interviews, qualitative interviewing, a basically process of gathering data by asking people's questions. Interviewing can be very flexible. They can be on one, but can also take place over the phone, internet, or in a small groups called focus group. There are so different types of the interviews. Structured interview use pre-set questions, whereas unstructured interviews are more free-floating conversation where the interviewer can probe and explore topics as they come up. Interviews are particularly useful if you want to know how people feel and react to something. For example, it would be very useful to sit down with the second career teachers in either a structured or unstructured interview to gain information about how they represent and discuss their teaching career. Survey written question as an open-ended survey about ideas, perception, and thoughts are so other ways by which you can collect data for your qualitative research. For example, in your study of second career school teachers, perhaps you decide to do an anonymous survey, not disclose the anonymity to nameless. You disclose the identity of one your participant, one teacher. Survey of 100 teachers in the area because you are concerned that they may be less forthright in an interview situation than in a survey where their identity was in unused. Document analysis then involving examining written use visual audio documents that exist without any involvement of or instigation by the researcher. They are investigation by the research. There are lots of different kinds of documents, including official documents produced by institution, personal documents like letters, memoirs, diaries, and in the 25th century, social media accounts, online blogs. For example, I studying education institution like public school produce many different kinds of documents, including reports, flyers, handbooks, websites, curricula, etc. Maybe you can also see if any second career teachers have an online meeting group and blog. Document analysis can often be useful to use in conjunction with other methods like interviewing. Do title do qualitative research. You give the title and match your title and then analyze your data. Once you have collect your data, you can begin to analyze it and come up with answers and theories to your research question. Although there are a number of ways to analyze your data, all mode of analysis in quantitative research are concerned with textual analysis, thematic analysis, whether written or verbal, coding. In coding, you assign a word, phrase, or number to each category. Starts out with a preset list of codes that you derived from your prior knowledge of the subject. For example, financial issues, community involvement might be two codes you think of after having done your literature review of second career teachers. You then go through all of your data in a systematic view and code ideas, concepts, and themes as they fit categories. You will also develop another set of codes that emerge from reading and analyzing the data. For example, you may see while coding your interview that the divorce come up frequently. You can add a code for this. And coding helps you organize your data and identity partners like commonalities on the commonness of one open. You just before become the open codings on the nature and on the subject matter of the text, you make open copy. When there is similarity in communities and commonness in the coding one to after a lot of the open codings, then you give a theme, or then you make the axle coding based on the similarity of the open codes, and open codes is similarity. You make the axle code on the base and similarity, on the base of similarity of the axle codes you make the theme. Descriptive statistics, you can analyze your data using statistics. Descriptive statistics help describe, show, summarize data to highlight patterns. For example, if you had 100 principal evaluation of teachers, you might be interested in overview performance of those students. Descriptive statistics allow you to do that. Keep in mind, however, that descriptive statistics cannot be used to make a conclusion and confirm disprove the hypothesis. You just represent by graphical data and summarizing in tabulation form. Narrative analysis focus on speech and content such as grammar, word use, metaphors, story themes, meanings of a situation, the social, cultural, and political context of the nature. Harmony, hermeneutic analysis. Hermeneutic analysis focus on the meaning of a word or a text. Essentially, you are trying to make sense of this object of study and bring to light some sort of underlying coherence. Content analysis, semantic analysis, content semantic analysis looks at text or a series of text and look for themes and meanings by looking at the frequency of words put differently. You try to identify structure and pattern regularities in the verbal or written text and then make inference on the basis of these regularities. For example, you may be find same word phrase like second chance and make a difference come up in different interview with second career teachers and decide to explore what is frequently might use write up your research when preparing the report of your qualitative research. Keep in mind audience for whom you are writing and also the formatting guidelines of the research journal you wish to submit your research to. You will want to make sure that your purpose for your research question is compelling and that you explain your research methodology analysis and you then you journalize and publish your qualitative research. The final steps of research, qualitative research, you journalized. Thank you very much. I'm hopeful this video will be very useful for you for conducting and for processing of your qualitative research. And might subscribe to YouTube channel